welcome back to the Podcast Playground. Our newest podcast is The Best Podcast.
Join Jay Carter and Mivita Best on The Best Podcast, where the dynamic duo brings you their insider secrets to everything wonderful. Now Jay and me dive deep into the top 5 everything, from the latest cell phones to affordable wines that won't break the bank.
So tell a friend, you've found the best podcast,
where every recommendation is a gem waiting to be uncovered. Tune in weekly for your dose of excellence.
73% of people who download a fitness app just, abandon it by day 3.
Which is just a staggering statistic when you really think about it.
Right. I mean, we spend billions of dollars globally trying to buy our way into better shape, and yet the vast majority of us end up with like a folder full of digital stopwatches.
Yeah, or meal planners just collecting digital dust on the home screen.
Exactly. It's an incredibly high failure rate. Because, well, you don't need another app that just counts your push-ups. You need a tool that actually hacks your specific kind of weird psychology.
Absolutely. The landscape has completely fundamentally changed. I mean, the era of the simple workout timer is dead.
Oh, totally dead.
If you look at the App Store right now, it is just this chaotic fitness expo. You've got algorithms analyzing your sleep architecture, AI dynamically adjusting your lifting volume.
Human coaches, like monitoring your heart rate from across the country.
Exactly. It is overwhelmingly loud. And if you pick the wrong tool, the friction of fighting an app that doesn't match your brain is just going to guarantee you join that 73% abandonment statistic.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because getting past day 3 is honestly the entire game.
It really is.
So for those of you listening who are just overwhelmed by all this noise, we have done the heavy lifting for you. We grabbed a massive stack of expert sources to kind of cut through the clutter.
We're looking at some really solid data today.
Yeah, we have comprehensive lab-tested reviews from CNET and PC Mag, some really great deep dive usage insights from the YouTube fitness reviewer Hello Chen, and data from the newly released definitive guide to top fitness apps of 2026.
It's a lot of material.
It is, and our mission for this deep dive is to distill all of that down into the absolute top 5 best fitness app you need to know about right now, focusing specifically on how they manipulate human behavior to actually, get you moving.
Right, and we have to categorize these by the psychological hurdles they overcome. Because someone who's, say, lifting heavy iron in a garage gym faces a completely different mental barrier than someone just trying to find the motivation to do 15 minutes of yoga in a tiny apartment.
Oh, 100%. So let's start with the absolute lowest barrier to entry. Before we get into all the complex AI algorithms and the premium monthly subscriptions.
The heavy hitters.
Yeah. We have to talk about the undisputed king of accessibility. Across the board, both CNET and PC Mag agree that the best overall crown goes to Nike Training Club, or NTC, which honestly, on its face, seems wild to me.
Why is that?
Because it is 100% free. Like, actually free.
It is entirely free. NTC casts the widest possible net in terms of sheer inclusivity.
Yeah.
You open the platform, and you aren't hit with a paywall, right? You're hit with options.
Yeah.
Hour-long intensive strength sessions, high-intensity interval training, mobility work.
PC Mag actually points out they even have dedicated programs for late pregnancy and family-friendly activities you can just do with your kids.
Right, it's massively expansive.
I get that they are leveraging their brand, obviously. CNET mentions you're getting workouts inspired by Simone Biles or Serena Williams.
Which is a huge draw.
It is. But here is where I struggle with NTC. It reminds me of walking into a massive, totally free Las Vegas buffet.
Okay, a buffet. I see where you're going.
Right. If there is no structured meal plan telling you what to eat, don't you just end up eating dessert first every time? I mean, CNET even notes that it lacks personalization. If I open an app and see 200 different free videos, I'm just going to experience decision paralysis and close the app.
Well, what's fascinating here is that you're looking at it from the perspective of someone who already knows how to work out.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
For an advanced athlete with a highly specific goal, like, say, adding 50 pounds to a deadlift, that lack of progressive structure is an absolute deal breaker.
Right. They need a real plan.
Exactly. But for the beginner, the person who makes up the vast majority of that 73% abandonment rate we talked about, the primary hurdle isn't a lack of optimization.
What is it then?
The hurdle is psychological intimidation. NTC is a masterclass in friction removal.
Wait, by friction removal, do you just mean making it free so there's no buyer's remorse?
Oh no, it goes much deeper than the price tag. Think about the cognitive load of a complete beginner. They don't know the proper form for a burpee.
Oh.
They don't know how long they should rest. And they're probably pretty self-conscious. Every unknown is a point of friction.
Say
NEC uses incredibly clear video demonstrations for every single movement. And by associating these workouts with trusted, familiar faces and a very premium, highly polished interface, Nike lowers your cortisol levels.
That makes a lot of sense.
You don't have to overthink. You just press play on a 15-minute video, and the cognitive load is outsourced entirely to the screen.
So it's essentially removing the stress of the unknown. I can totally see how that gets you off the couch for like the first month.
Exactly.
But let's follow the psychology here. Friction removal only gets you so far, right? Once you've built the basic habit of moving your body, the novelty sort of wears off. You're bored in your living room.
You plateau.
Yeah. You realize humans are inherently social creatures, and friction removal just isn't enough anymore. You need external validation to keep going. Where do you find that?
You find it in our second app, which is Strava.
Strava.
If Nike Training Club is the safe, inclusive living room, Strava is the massive, highly competitive outdoor arena.
It's basically a social network.
Pretty much. It operates on a freemium model with the paid tier coming in around $12 a month. And it is the undisputed universal favorite for runners and cyclists.
Hello Chen on YouTube raves about this one constantly. He loves that end-of-year Strava Wrap stats recap, and it seems like it's entirely built on gamification.
Gamification is the absolute core engine. Strava basically turns your smartphone or your GPS watch into a localized performance monitor. It uses GPS to track your mileage, sure, but the real behavioral hack is how it breaks your route down into what they call segments.
How does that work?
So you could be running your normal Tuesday morning route, and Strava will tell you exactly how fast you completed a specific, quarter-mile hill climb compared to literally every other person who has ever run that exact same stretch of road.
Wow. So it builds an instant, localized leaderboard out of thin air.
Yes. Exactly.
Which sounds incredibly motivating, but I have to wonder about the mental toll of that.
It can be intense.
Right. Is turning your morning neighborhood jog into a fierce, data-driven competition with literal strangers actually healthy? It seems like a recipe for physical overtraining and just massive mental burnout.
Well, it can absolutely lead to overtraining if you lack discipline. But if we connect this to the bigger picture, we have to look at the evolutionary psychology at play here.
Okay, lay it on me.
Running or cycling, especially long distances, is a really isolating experience. Strava taps into this deep tribal human need to be seen and validated by our peers.
The social reinforcement.
Exactly. When you finish a grueling run and post the data, your friends give you kudos, which is their version of a like. That neurochemical hit of social reinforcement is incredibly powerful. It bridges the gap between solitary suffering and community triumph.
That's a great way to put it.
And there's a very tangible, practical side to this data tracking as well.
Like the safety features CNET mentioned.
Yes. CNET highlights a feature called Beacon. When you go out for a trail run, you can share a live link with an emergency contact. They can track your real-time location via GPS.
That's huge for safety.
It really is. If you stop moving for 20 minutes in the middle of a forest, they know exactly where to send help. And PCMag notes this community tracking extends way beyond just running. People are using it to log alternative sports like rock climbing, snowboarding, even open water swimming.
Okay, so Strava solves the boredom problem by introducing community validation and, let's be real, peer pressure.
A lot of peer pressure.
But what if peer pressure just isn't enough to get you out of bed? A thumbs up from a buddy on a screen is great, but it's pretty easy to ignore. What if you need a boss? Someone to look at your numbers, hold your hand, and actually demand results.
Well, now you're moving out of the realm of standard apps and into the premium category. Our third app is Future Pro.
Okay.
CNET crowns this as the best for personalized training. This is a fascinating pivot because it moves entirely away from algorithms. Future Pro connects you with an elite, flesh and blood, human personal fitness coach.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because you do pay a massive premium for this. This is, what, $200 a month?
Anywhere from $199 to $200, yes.
I look at this and I think this is the concierge medicine of fitness apps, but I really struggle with the value proposition here.
Why is that?
If I am shelling out $200 every single month, why wouldn't I just go to my local gym and hire a real-life trainer, someone who can physically stand next to me, physically correct my squat form, and physically hand me the dumbbells?
That is the immediate logical objection everyone has.
Right.
But the answer lies in the mechanism of asynchronous accountability.
Asynchronous accountability. Okay, explain that.
When you hire an in-person trainer at a local gym, you see them for an hour, maybe twice a week. The other 166 hours of the week, you are completely on your own.
That is very true.
It is very easy to eat terribly or skip your cardio when the trainer isn't around.
Yeah.
Future Pro is designed to bridge the gap between digital convenience and human expectation. The trainer builds custom weekly workouts based on the exact equipment you actually have at home.
Oh, I see. It almost feels like turning on read receipts for your boss on a text message.
That's exactly it.
They might not be in the room, but you know they saw that you opened the workout and then closed it. The guilt does the heavy lifting.
The read receipt analogy is incredibly accurate. The trainer isn't there in real time, but they are monitoring the biometric data from your Apple Watch or a compatible Android wearable.
So they see everything.
Everything. They know what your heart rate was during that third set of lunges. They know if you paused the workout for 20 minutes to scroll social media.
Oh, wow. You can't hide anything.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
And because you are messaging with them directly through the app, if you don't show up, you have to type out an explanation to a real professional about why you chose to stay in bed.
Okay, so you were paying $200 for the psychological weight of knowing someone is constantly watching your progress. And honestly, the behavioral economics of that makes sense. When you have that much skin in the game financially, you are going to show up.
You definitely are.
But for the vast majority of people listening, that price tag is just a non-starter. So how do we get premium studio quality guidance without the concierge price tag, utilizing the tech we probably already own?
That is the exact problem Apple Fitness Plus was built to solve. Which brings us to app number 4. PCMag named it the best value on the market.
And what's the cost there?
For just $9.99 a month, or $80 for an entire year, you get an incredibly polished library of over 5,000 live and on-demand classes.
Okay, the value metric there is huge, especially because they let you share that single subscription with up to 5 family members at no extra cost.
Exactly.
You get high-energy studio cycling, kickboxing, meditation, those audio-guided time-to-walk sessions, but there is a massive, obvious wall here.
Walled garden.
Yes, this is a completely closed ecosystem. If you're an Android user or you have a Garmin watch instead of an Apple Watch, you are entirely locked out. You're just stuck staring through the glass.
You are. Both CNET and PCMag emphasize that this is strictly for the Apple ecosystem.
Which is frustrating.
It is, but from a technological standpoint, we have to look at the physiological and psychological reasons why Apple designed it this way. It's not arbitrary. By controlling both the hardware on your wrist and the software on your TV, they create a zero-latency feedback loop.
Wait, let me clarify. So if I'm locked in this Apple ecosystem, is it just casting my watch screen to the TV, or is the software actually altering the experience based on my live heart rate? Because if it's just a mirror so I don't have to look at my wrist, I don't see the monthly value.
Oh no, it is much more than a mirror.
Okay.
When you are doing an Apple Fitness Plus HIAT class, the app is pulling your live heart rate and active calories and weaving them directly into the on-screen graphics right next to the instructor.
Oh, that's cool.
And when the instructor tells the class to push for a 30-second sprint, a feature called the burn bar appears. This dynamically compares your real-time effort against the anonymized data of everyone else who has ever taken that exact class.
So you get immediate biometric gamification.
And crucially, it happens without lag.
Right.
If you are doing a high-intensity interval and your heart rate monitor lags by even 3 seconds, you might finish the sprint and be in the recovery phase before the screen actually catches up.
That would be so annoying.
It completely breaks the psychological reward of seeing your numbers spike when you push hard. By keeping it in a walled garden, Apple eliminates the Bluetooth syncing issues and the lag that plague a lot of third-party apps. The psychological reward is instantaneous.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. It is the ultimate frictionless group fitness vibe.
Very much so.
But Apple Fitness is fundamentally geared toward general health, cardio, burning calories. If you are listening to this and your goal isn't to sweat on a stationary bike, but purely to lift heavy iron and build serious muscle mass, a high-energy dance cardio class is pretty useless to you.
Completely useless.
You need an app that specializes in the cold, hard science of hypertrophy, tracking exact metrics.
Which brings us to our fifth and final major category, the AI and strength specialists.
Nice.
PC Mag highlights an app called Shred, which runs about $19.99 a month, and it is phenomenal at generating structured programs based on the specific gym equipment you have in front of you and your specific goals.
Awesome.
But to really grasp this category, we need to look at Hila Chen's review and the definitive guide, which heavily focus on tracking apps like Heavy and Fitbod.
Yeah, I look at these apps and I think if Apple Fitness is a loud, neon-lit group fitness party, these strength apps are the quiet, intense librarians of the weight room.
The librarians? I like that.
Right. They don't care about the music or the vibe. They just want to track every single detail, the raw data of exactly what you lifted.
The librarian comparison works, but these are librarians who are doing highly complex biological math on your behalf.
Okay, fair enough.
This raises an important question, though. Why are these apps exploding in popularity right now?
Why?
Because AI is finally capable of replacing the traditional, cumbersome pen and paper workout journal, and it's applying the science of progressive overload.
Okay, let's break down the biology of that for a second. Progressive overload just means lifting heavier over time, right?
Yes, it is the biological mechanism of forcing adaptation.
Okay.
When you lift weights, you are physically creating micro tears in your muscle fibers. Your brain responds to this trauma by rebuilding those fibers slightly thicker and stronger so they don't tear the next time you encounter that specific stress.
Makes sense.
So if you go into the gym and lift the exact same 20-pound dumbbells for the exact same number of reps week after week, the muscle has already adapted. It has no biological reason to grow.
Right.
To build muscle, you have to constantly introduce slightly more volume or slightly more weight.
Which requires a ridiculous amount of memory and math. If you were tracking, 8 different exercises across different muscle groups, you have to remember exactly what you did last Tuesday.
Exactly. And mental fatigue in the gym actively degrades your physical output.
I didn't realize that.
Oh, yeah. If you are spending your rest periods trying to calculate percentages of your 1-rep max, your central nervous system is being drained. Fitbod and Heavy analyze your past performance, they calculate your estimated muscular fatigue, and they tell you exactly how many pounds to put on the bar today to force that biological adaptation.
Wow. And the definitive guide praises these apps for what they call minimalist logging. You finish a grueling set of squats, your brain is totally foggy, and you just tap a single button on your phone to record the set and trigger the rest timer.
The cognitive load is basically zero.
The AI handles the complex math of muscle growth, so you can just focus on lifting the heavy thing.
It optimizes the entire strength training process for experienced lifters.
So those are the top 5 heavy hitters dominating the market right now. We have Nike for total friction removal, Strava for social validation, Future Pro for asynchronous human accountability, Apple Fitness for the seamless ecosystem feedback loop, and the AI strength apps like Shred and Heavy for the intense lifters.
It's a really diverse list.
It is. But I want to pivot slightly because the sources we pulled from mention a few highly specific sort of niche tools that aren't traditional workout apps, but they really illustrate where this entire industry is heading.
Right. The landscape is definitely expanding beyond just the hour you spend sweating.
Let's look at Aptiv, which PC Mag highlights for $14.99 a month. This is an entirely screenless, audio-only workout app.
Which sounds counterintuitive at first.
Totally. My immediate thought is, in an era where everyone is obsessed with HD video and live metrics on screen, why would you pay for an app that explicitly removes the visual element?
It comes down to the cognitive load of visual processing and its effect on proprioception.
Okay, big word. Proprioception.
Proprioception is just your body's ability to sense its movement, action, and location in space.
Got it.
When you are trying to hold a complex physical posture like a plank or a yoga pose, and you constantly have to crane your neck to stare at a phone screen to see what the instructor is doing, you are compromising your physical form.
Ah, you're taking your awareness out of your own muscles and putting it into the phone.
Precisely. Aptiv forces you to rely on highly descriptive audio cues. It allows you to keep your spine neutral, put the phone in your pocket, and focus entirely on the internal sensation of the movement.
I can see how that would be amazing.
For people suffering from severe screen fatigue after staring at a computer all day, that auditory-only experience is a massive relief for the nervous system.
That's fascinating. And Blogelites is another one mentioned for a totally free, no account required Pilates experience, which is great for privacy.
A lot of people really value not having to hand over their email just to do some core work.
Exactly. Which flows perfectly into the next niche Hello Chen brings up, which are apps like Bevel and Body State. These aren't even workout libraries.
Oh, there's something else entirely.
They are holistic trackers that pull passive data from your smartwatch to calculate things like your hydration, your sleep architecture, and most importantly, your HRV, or heart rate variability, turning the Apple Watch into an all-in-one health monitor.
Heart rate variability is arguably the most important metric these advanced apps are tracking right now. It's essentially a direct window into your central nervous system.
How does that actually work? Because it sounds like something a cardiologist should be looking at, not an app on my phone.
Well, it measures the microscopic variations in time between your heartbeats.
Yeah.
And counterintuitively, you actually want high variability.
Really? You want it to be variable?
Yes. When the time between your beats is highly variable, it means your parasympathetic nervous system is in control. You are relaxed, recovered, and your body is ready to adapt to stress. But when the interval between your heartbeats is rigid and identical, like a metronome, it indicates your sympathetic nervous system is dominating. You are in a state of fight or flight, meaning you are under-recovered, highly stressed, or getting sick.
Wow. So these apps monitor your HRV while you sleep and then generate a body battery score when you wake up, telling you if you should go hit the gym hard or if you need to take a rest day.
That's the idea.
It is wild how granular this tracking has become. We are moving from tracking our bicep curls to tracking the microscopic timing of our cardiac rhythms. It's incredibly niche.
But it represents a massive paradigm shift. The future of fitness technology isn't just about the 1 hour a day you spend exercising. It is about becoming the central dashboard for your entire physiological existence across the other 23 hours of the day, tracking your recovery, sleep, and nutrition 24/7.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener, who is just trying to figure out what to download?
That's the big question.
We have explored the psychology behind a massive range of tools. And I think the biggest takeaway from cutting through all this expert research is that the best app in the world just does not exist.
It really doesn't.
The best app isn't the one with the most advanced biological math, and it definitely isn't the one with the $200 price tag. The best app is the one that matches your specific psychology and actually gets you to open it on a rainy Tuesday morning.
It is entirely dependent on what's blocking you.
Exactly. If the fear of looking foolish or not knowing what to do keeps you on the couch, you need Nike to remove the friction. If isolation makes you quit, you need Strava to build a digital tribe. If you lack discipline, you need the read receipt guilt of Future Pro. You just have to match the tool to the excuse you usually use to quit.
And as we embrace all this incredible technology to hack our motivation, I want to leave you with a deeper sort of philosophical concept to mull over.
Oh, I like these.
As we eagerly hand over the tracking of our central nervous system, our heart rate variability, and our muscular fatigue to these advanced algorithms, are we at risk of losing touch with our own physical intuition?
That is the real danger of outsourcing all this data.
Right. If an app analyzes your sleep architecture and your HRV, and the algorithm definitively tells you that your body battery is at 100%, and you are primed for a heavy workout.
But you feel terrible.
Exactly. You wake up and genuinely feel exhausted deep in your bones. What do? Do you trust the algorithmic math of the machine, or do you trust the biological intuition of your own body? Who do you listen to, the algorithm or yourself?
That is a phenomenal question to end on. From downloading simple digital stopwatches to outsourcing our physical intuition to artificial intelligence, it is a completely brave new world out there in the App Store. We highly encourage you to experiment with a free trial this week. Pick the app from this top 5 list that targets your specific weaknesses and see how it works for you. Thank you so much for joining us